Eric, you teach people how to become mediums and how to become more psychic. Is that correct?
That's right.
Okay. What are the benefits of becoming more psychic? What do you see as the benefits?
Well, really, there can be several. For me, I think one thing that is the most beneficial is trusting in your own soul and the power that rests within each and every one of us. We're all faced with making choices and decisions in life, and sometimes we feel hopeless or lost and things like that. And we've got that inner voice, a compass inside us with a plan. And quite often, that soul of yours is going to say, calm down, I've got it under control. We're going to go this way, and then that way, and then that way, and we'll get where we want to go. But, people look outside themselves for answers.
Oh, so it's a connection with your inner self in a certain kind of way, something inside you.
So I think and I call it the spirit within.
Oh, I see.
So for me, you've got the ability to tune into your own situations with your spirit within. Your soul has to be able to rise up in you, and you'll know instantly, once you make that connection within yourself, that you can overcome anything. This too shall pass. We will get through it. The other thing that it's helpful, I think, is with people like healers like you.
Yes.
I have a lot of energy workers that come to me, and not all for mediumship. Sometimes it's psychic, and they want to enhance their psychic abilities because it helps them help people. So there's people that have a line of work where they can use that intuition.
That's right, because I teach energy reading, and I call it energy reading rather than being intuitive or being psychic, because it's specifically what people need to do when doing crystal healing and crystal surgeries, to be able to read the energy and to be able to tell how the crystals are affecting the person. That's a very specific application. Then people come to me and they say, will you teach me to be more intuitive? And I say, you have to be more intuitive about something. You can't just be more intuitive.
Right.
It's about something. It's an application, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's another layer of senses that we have.
Yes.
But you've got to use them. They're like muscles.
Yes.
The more you use them, the stronger they get. So I know you're very clairvoyant. You can see the energy.
Yes.
But you can also feel it.
Yes. In fact, I feel more. I have more feeling, and
right.
And that's both kinesthesia and empathic.
Right. You also get the knowing. So you're using all the main clairs when you're working.
It's true.
Right.
Yes.
So there I went psychically looking at you again. But
please do.
But
tell me what you see.
But for someone maybe who's not as comfortable or as in tune with those abilities as you are, then by helping them to open and learn and let the power of the soul rise up to where they can relax their conscious mind to let the soul mind work with them, that spirit within then can give them this extra information that you're so used to receiving.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So you can do it in healing, but you can also do it to help and comfort your loved ones and your family. Now you've got to be careful though, because you don't want your nose in everybody's business. It's not.
No, you don't.
It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for your relationships, and quite honestly, you'll lose quite a few friends.
And it's overwhelming.
Oh, it can be. So I think learning where the on and off switch is very important too. But so I have people that are energy workers that want to open more. I also have people who've always felt like they have some connection to people or places, and they can pick up vibes, or have a gut feelings about things, and they're not sure what that is, or if they are psychic, how do I explore it? How do I turn it off because it's annoying me? So, so you've got people who want more of it, you've got people who have it very open naturally, and they want less of it, but no matter how I teach, it helps you with all of those.
We see, what you're saying is very, very valuable, and I hope that people are getting the point, because long ago, back in the day, I would go to the readers at Victory of Light, and if it was a palmist or a tarot card reader, it didn't matter what, and they'd take one look at me and they'd say, "You are very psychic. You should be on the other side of the table. You should be reading me, but you are blocked. What is the block?" And then I would want to say, "Well, you're the psychic. You tell me what the block is, okay?" Anyway, no one told me what the block is. I hope you can tell people what their block is. But nobody psychically told me what my block is. But I discovered what it was when we went for shamanic training with Michael Hanna. It was the Gateway Weekend training to see if we wanted to do that full training, which was 3 years, I think, altogether. And Neil did do that whole training. But anyway, the point was that Michael Hanna taught us how to switch on being in another zone and how to switch it off. And that was the block for me. I didn't want it switched on and become so bombarded and so overwhelmed. And once I learned, no, it is under my control, and I can switch it on and I can switch it off and I can choose when, everything opened up for me.
Absolutely.
That was what made the difference. So that's what you teach people, isn't it?
Right. Yeah, I get people that are afraid of it.
Well,
You know,
of course.
And that's
yes.
where you're calling, they can call it a block. I don't like the word block, really.
Is that why you were smiling when I used that word?
Yeah, I mean, that's not my favorite word that people use, but I understand what they're meaning by it.
What word do you use instead?
So for me, there's a belief or an emotion of not accepting that and taking the responsibility and control.
Yes. Okay.
And so I wouldn't call that a block. It's just something that can be overcome.
It's a step that hasn't been taken.
Worked through, and maybe you've not got the right information.
Correct.
Or maybe your childhood upbringing has left you with these fears that are irrational.
Yes.
You know, so you've got all of these things going on. And I think sometimes psychically you can sense an energy or a vibration in somebody or in a place, because there is psychic dust that kind of lingers in places.
Yes.
That makes you feel very uncomfortable.
Yes.
And without knowing what you're doing, there's this fright or flight kind of modality
reaction,
that hits the body. And so you automatically think it's something bad.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's just a lack of understanding sometimes.
Yes, because you are venturing into the unknown somewhat.
Well, it's very known once you get comfortable with it, but you are learning a brand new thing that you wouldn't know about ahead of time. So you're right.
So that's what you're offering people, how to become comfortable there.
So learning to be comfortable, learning to experiment and explore your abilities. Some people are very clairvoyant. Some are very clairsentient or empathic, let's say. Other people just have a knowing, and they don't know where the knowing comes from. And I think exploring all of those, by exploring one of those facets, the other faculties then can begin to awaken, and now you can use multiple faculties, so you can really have a more complete picture or understanding of the information you're receiving.
Can you give us a list of the psychic faculties?
Sure. So with the psychic, we've got the clairvoyance, which is it's what we call from the third eye, or the psychic center here in the brow chakra, and that would be the vision. So you have daydreamy visions, mental pictures, I like to say, of places, things, people, little movies sometimes.
Yes, I've had that.
Right. Then you've got the claircognizance, which is the knowing, a clear knowing. So you don't know how you know. The thought just dropped in your head, and you know something's going to happen.
I've had that.
I don't know how I know it, but I know it. Mm-hmm. Then,
and it's unshakable too.
Oh, you have a firm knowing, and you don't know how. Right.
No, it just drops in. Yeah.
Right. Then you've got the clairsentience, which is affiliated with the solar plexus. And that's where people have that gut feeling, or I just have a feeling I shouldn't go to that because it just doesn't feel right to me, you know. And then you find out later something happened and it would have been traumatic if you'd been there.
Yes.
So that's the gut feeling. I think those are the three that you would use psychically. Now, mediumistically, I will say there's a difference in mediumship, and the other one that comes in is the clairaudience.
Where you can actually hear.
You can hear the voice of the person in the spirit world, but because the auric field doesn't have a voice, it's not going to speak to you that way. It would come claircognizantly, so it would be like a thought sound, but not actual clairaudience.
Yes, yes.
But those are the faculties you would use.
Yes.
And you know we've got energy centers all through the body.
Yes.
You're aware.
Yes.
So really, like, it's funny when I'm working, sometimes people will say, why are you doing this with your hands? And I don't really know I'm doing it at the time. It's just my body reacting like an antenna opening up to get more information.
It is an antenna, isn't it?
And so, but I'm very clairsentient, and so I'll get a feeling of something, and then I open up the clairvoyance or the claircognizance to see more about it or to know more about it.
Mm-hmm.
So having those working congruently in tandem, I think, is very beneficial. But when I'm working with students, I'm happy if they could just see an image, or if they could just get a feeling, or have one
You've got to
thought.
begin somewhere, right?
Oh yes, that's how I would start. And practice.
Yes.
You can't do it with your family sometimes, so find some friends that are interested and just practice.
Like everything, right?
That's right. Get comfortable with it.
Yeah, and it is not extraordinary. It is ordinary reality also to have these skills, right?
Oh my God, it's so ordinary. I had it my whole life very, very intensely in a natural way. I was born that way.
Yes.
But I never knew I was doing anything
right.
That someone would call psychic. It was just me being me. So it's interesting.
And when you teach other people to become psychic, you teach people to become more of themselves.
Oh, that's
Isn't that right?
That's absolutely right. That's the nail on the head.
There we go. Thank you. Thank you so much, Eric.
You're so welcome.